what's going on? Bassist here. Today I want to talk about slap bass technique, particularly in the style of Oteil Burbridge. I've been listening to this guy play since 1995 with the band called the Aquarium Rescue Unit, and I am an absolute fan of his playing. He is my favorite bass player and my biggest influence on the bass. Now, a lot of people think about his melodic playing or his melodic soloing. He often sings while he solos, and a lot of people also think of Oteil when it comes to his harmonic approach on the bass, particularly how he voices chords on the 6-string and the 5-string bass. All those are amazing. Personally, for me, I am a huge fan of his slap bass technique and his approach. I think it sounds very unique, and it grooves so hard. But a lot of people, I just don't really see anything out there that talks about his approach to slap bass technique. So this is my personal take. Okay, so this is full disclosure here. There's nothing out there that explains this, and this is just my personal take on what I think he's doing when I'm transcribing or lifting anything from his playing, and I'm trying to emulate the sound that I'm hearing. This is how I'm coming to that conclusion. It's just a guess at the end of the day. There's no way to know for sure unless you just were to analyze videos. I don't really look at videos and then transcribe it. I'm transcribing just from audio. So this is what I think he's doing, and it sounds like he is doing. So I'm going to break down 3 particular characteristics that I often hear, or it sounds like he is doing. The first one is playing ghost notes with the fretting hand. So if you're right-handed, playing ghost notes often with the left hand. The second one is playing the backbeats playing pops on the backbeats. So pop, pulling the string, snapping the string. This is what I mean by a pop, okay? Playing that on the backbeat. That often seems like something he's doing a lot to ground his grooves. And then also fret hand leading seems to be a big one, where he's often leading his grooves or even his bass fills with the fretting hand, with his left hand. Okay, so let's break this down. Fret hand ghost notes. The first one is just like a flurry of ghost notes, and I'm gonna just rest my finger on the strings. This will allow the strings to just not sound anything. Okay, so this is like I'm not barring it in the sense where I'm pressing it down where you hear notes. I'm just laying my finger on here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play ghost notes with my middle finger and my pinky. Okay, so I'm just smacking the string. I'm not pressing down on the string to make a note. I'm not doing that. I'm just smacking it. Now, you can do it with just these 3 fingers, or you can do it with your middle and your pinky. And then I'm just going to do a pop and a slap. Okay, pop and slap. So, okay. Now, see, that's something that I hear him do, things like that a lot, and it sounds like that. For me, the key to getting this to sound and feel right, it's like a roll. I'm not thinking 1 and a 2 and I'm just, it's got to roll, and it's got to kind of rip like a fart. Okay, you're just kind of like letting it rip. Sometimes you want to make it a little bit wider. Sometimes you want to make it just quick. But it's got to be like brrrt, brrrt, like a fart. And when you practice it, when I'm practicing it, I'm going for that sound. So that's not even like clean enough for me. When you get it, you feel it. You're like, oh, there it is. I just nailed it. But anyway, that is one of them. Fret hand ghost notes. Okay. Second one, playing your pops on the backbeats. So when you're playing a groove, he'll play, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is thinking very much in the sense of like a drummer. And Oteil, from what I understand, started out actually on the drums. So He's probably thinking that way. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. No way to know for sure unless we ask him. But just playing it like a drum, okay? Now, a lot of people, when they slap bass or start to slap bass, you hear this type of technique a lot. I don't hear any bass line or groove that Oteil plays that sounds like that, and that's what has drawn me to this approach. By thinking of it more like a drummer, because drummers don't really just play boom, shake, some do, but a lot of times that's not really like the groove that we're hearing with funk beats. We might hear something a little bit more rhythmic. You know, having a drummer-like approach, just I feel like frees up the rhythm. Okay, it's more liberating in a sense. I'm just playing just ghost notes actually, and this is how I would recommend practicing it for a long time. I'm just focusing on my pops on the backbeat. This could be a bass drum, my thumb could be a bass drum. I'm not really thinking about really the bass drum, I'm thinking about my backbeat. Okay, then the third one is fret hand leading. So it sounds like he leads a lot of his bass grooves with his fret hand. So leading just like meaning start out playing notes with your fret hand. And now they're all going to be hammer-ons, by the way. Even when he does his bass fills, it sounds like he's doing, instead of just starting out. I mean, that works too, but when you start with your left hand or you start with your fretting hand, for some reason when you're leading with your fret hand, there's a lot of freedom that it gives you with your right hand to either play ghost notes there's a certain freedom and certain rhythms that you can get out that you probably normally don't get when you're always starting every single thing with one hand, with the right hand. Okay, so those are really three different characteristics. I highly recommend thinking about it when you're listening to his playing. You might start hearing some of those patterns or some of those sounds, because his slap bass just doesn't quite sound like this. It just doesn't sound like that. There's a certain drumistic approach to it, is the best way I can put it. But these three techniques, try them out. Maybe they might start, you might incorporate this into your playing. I've certainly used this in all of my playing, and it's just become a staple of my approach in a sense too as well. But if you've never heard of Oteil Burbridge, check him out for sure. This cat can play. Anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking along with and watching my video. Love you guys, and I'll see you later.